All right, welcome day 2 of the PGA show, and the legs are not nearly as tired as I thought they would be. And we are in the Callaway booth with Mr. Toulon. And for those of you who don't know, the Toulon line of putters are his creation. And what little bit of the history that I know is that he worked Louisville Dover that way. And he has a line of not only that has his name on it, but also the O-Works line that has the face in it that was awfully successful last year. And we're just going to kind of go over that kind of stuff and some of the new things. So we're going to do that. So more along the lines, let's find out who Sean is. And so how long have you been in the business?
I think.
You think?
This is my 35th PGA show.
35th?
35th, yeah. So that's a long time.
You got us by 20. That's our 15.
Yeah, but it's been great. It's a great business. And I think it's a great business because it's an incredible game. And, you know, from a very young age, I fell in love with the game. But I think even more importantly for me, I fell in love with golfers, you know, and I just loved being around them. I loved the way they spoke. I loved what was interesting to them. I loved the way golf sort of permeates their life and how they live. That I got hooked.
So we knew that you transitioned from that other company into your own company.
I did.
And that was when the actual Toulons were starting to come out. They were starting to make a name for themselves.
Right.
And then apparently Mr. Brewer decided that you were the man and acquired that, and now you're in charge of all the putters going forward?
Well, yeah, so I have a couple of different jobs. So the other company was TaylorMade, which is, you know, I grew up as a salesman at TaylorMade, and then in the year 2000 I left to do a couple of other things in golf. Came back in 2000 and I was in charge of all the product design there from 2000 to midway through 2015. So that was a nice run, and I've got a lot of great friends over there. That's a great company. When I left, I was really going to retire, and it was about 6 days into retirement, 2 of my kids talked me into starting a putter company, which I thought was the dumbest idea I've ever heard, but they're pretty persistent. And we got busy on the Toulon design thing, so that has been great. And we really felt that we could bring, you know, you hear about the melding of art and science all of it, and it's just sort of kind of a weak cliche, but when you really look at high-end putters, and we were interested in high-end putters because we wanted to make an incredibly beautiful product at the very, very highest quality, right? Well, you can't really do that, you know, if they're going to be cheap, right? So by definition, we were going to be up there in price point. But when we looked at it, and there's a major player up there who does a really good job, but we really believe we could bring more science and more performance to that segment of the marketplace. And if we could do that, we'd begin to see some activity on tour. Last year alone, this is something I'm really proud of, Jim, we had 150 players, different players, on the worldwide tours put an Odyssey Toulon design putter in place. So nice. And I think we've got 5 wins now, so that's pretty cool.
Starting out, you guys were, it was record setting for you guys last year, the numbers of wins, wasn't it?
I think we had 80, which is more wins than Titleist and TaylorMade, and maybe even Ping combined. So that's something we're very proud of.
That's an impressive stat because, you know, the pros are very, very picky when it comes to what they look down on.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been fortunate enough to be on a couple of tour trailers, and from the grip, from the color, from the feel, from the look, you know, and it doesn't roll right. I mean, it's about 2 seconds, and it's no longer in the back.
No, you're not going to fool those guys.
Yeah, and their idea of putting bad is when they miss a 40-footer. Good night.
So to answer your original question, my job here is I run the entire putter business, which is Odyssey, Toulon Design now being part of that. And then I have a second group that I manage that does the industrial design for all of the clubs. So Rogue and, you know, all the other clubs, which is really pretty much the job I had at the other company. So something I really enjoy doing.
Very good. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming, what's the big deal, because we moved to, last year, we just went to red.
Right.
We went to red, and that took off like a shot out of Canada.
It's been great. So last year on tour, people started seeing red putters on tour, and they weren't Odysseys at that point. And a lot of our players saw them and said, geez, the red thing is kind of fun, that's kind of cool. would you consider making it? And we talked about it a little bit, and I said, well, you know, we always try to do what's right by the golfer. That's something that I really believe in. So if our tour players are asking us about red, I think it's pretty cool. Plus, it's a way to really get the consumer excited. If all the putters are black on TV, then you never know if somebody's got a new one in play, right? So, but the reason why you've seen so many of these new putters, and our red putters have done phenomenal. So we have more red putters in play than everybody. But the reason why is Odyssey is really the place to go to get mallets. 70% of the golfers that come to Odyssey looking for a putter are coming to find a mallet. Right. So this one. So this is a what would appear to be kind of a traditional 2-ball fang design. Right. This is a pretty high MOI 2-ball. But the biggest difference in this explosion of mallets on tour. So last year, when Jordan Spieth switched to a Cameron mallet for that 1 week, 9 of the top 10 players in the world were putting with mallet putters. It's unheard of, right? So this trend on tour has been almost straight up. The reason why we've seen so much mallets typically will come face mallets, right? So if you hold it up like this, you know, it would balance this way. A putter like that doesn't rotate very much in your stroke, right? So if you kind of don't have a lot of rotation in your hands or your wrists or your arms, that's typically a pretty good putter for you. Tour players, for the most part, have more rotation in their stroke. So what has happened, the reason why blades have been so important is because they would give you that amount of rotation. And mallets typically did not do that. Well, then we developed this new little hosel and put it on, so you can see now the toe comes down instead of like this, it goes like this. So now it wants to rotate more like a blade. What happens, the reason why mallets have gotten so important and popular is the MOI of a mallet is much higher. So a putter like this is about 5,000 MOI. A normal blade is about 3,500 to 4,000, right? And that just means for your viewers, it's just more forgiving, which means your distance control is better. It's a really important part of putting. The second part of it is mallets typically come with some sort of bigger alignment. Golfers are horrible at aligning properly, and not just you know, average golfers like us, but tour players are not very good at it. So something with more, you know, 2-ball, definitely, you know, one of the great alignment stories ever. Something with a long line, much easier. So now, the reason why we've seen these things, and I really think your viewers need to try it. A mallet with toe down, you get the forgiveness and the alignment benefits of a mallet, but you get the rotation now that you would get with a sort of a blade putter. It's a super forgiving one.
We like that part of it. And
yeah.
You combine it with, now what have they been telling you about the new faces?
Yeah, well, it rolls the ball much better. So this is an interesting one, where putters, I think, have really been behind sort of the technology curve. So it wasn't that long ago where launch monitors started to become fairly prevalent, really within the last 10 years. But I can tell you, you know, 15 years ago, we really didn't know much about launch conditions for drivers. Then TrackMan and GC2 quads and all these things have come out to measure optimal ball speed, spin rate, launch angles, all of that stuff. So, I mean, if I asked you, Jim, I have 2 drivers, they fit you really well. One has 150 miles an hour ball speed, one has 160. Which one do you want?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty simple answer. So in putters, it's not been so clear. But putters produce launch conditions. It's like a driver. It's not as sexy. It's 6 miles per hour. But what we're after is we want immediate forward roll coming off the putter. So Odyssey, we believe in a few things really strongly. Number one, you have to have some sort of roll enhancing face technology. If you don't, you're putting with a putter that's obsolete, and I really mean that.
And that's what this really comes into. These are basically 100 fingers.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is an exaggeration, obviously, but this in order to get that ball moving as you catch it going forward.
Yep. So the key is that first 20% of a putt. So it's 1 foot on a 5-footer, or 4 feet on a 20-footer. We want to make sure that we get that ball rolling, and something like this, it really makes a difference. Long-winded answer to on tour now, they're becoming way more used to seeing spin rate numbers now with putters. So, and if it comes off with backspin, they're less interested. So you'll start to see more mallets and more putters with some sort of face technology, whether it's that or the deep diamond mill that we have on our milled putters that really pick the golf ball up and get it into that forward roll. It's really important.
I was talking to Tony about that, and we had a launch monitor that was catching putters.
Yep.
And it was talking about launch conditions. And I started off the segment with, there's absolutely no way on the planet that you get immediate forward roll because of you're catching it up, you're on a degree, you got a little bit of loft, whatever that is. There's skid, and then there's roll. There's no immediate, and I putted 10 times. 5 times out of 10 immediately roll.
But that's the technology has really improved, right?
Right.
So people would look at this and say, "Well, I have a 2-ball." Well, honestly, you don't have a 2-ball if you don't have this, right? You don't have, and that's a big difference. And the reason why we get these players now switching to more technology in a putter is because it works better. It's really become Moneyball in golf. Big data, looking at this data, and Faldo, when you watch him on TV, he always talks about fractions of this, fractions of that. So people ask all the time, if the ball rolls better, will it go in the hole more often? I say, yes, we have reams of data that will show you that. And what does that mean? Look, if it's a little bit better from 5 feet, and that 5-footer happens to be on the 72nd hole at Augusta, and it goes in instead of lips out, you tell me what that's worth.
There you go. And that's and they talk about, it was tech in putters, and it used to be that if you just had it milled really cool, that was about the end result of it.
Right.
And then it was balancing. You had the face balance, toe hangs, and various of that.
Yeah.
And then there was a toe up for a while.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was basically it. And then all of a sudden, you guys hit the street with the hinge technology, and honestly, it made it feel better too. That was when we tried it out. Everybody's looking for that forged feel or whatever it was.
Right.
And I thought they gave you that kind of feel, right? As opposed to being softer with a wider insert.
Right.
And I was like, how can you not like this?
Right.
And that was it. That was until I got the other one.
Well, so we're always moving, we're always looking. So I think the next ones that we have are, this is really special. So we hear stories about MOI all the time, right?
Moment of inertia.
So inertia is really your friend in putting, because what it means is if you have a really high MOI, this putter will have about 6,500. Once you get about 6,500, the way moment of inertia works is on a curve. So once you get above that number, the gains there's not much really there, right? I'm not saying all gains are good, but for the most part, the penalty that you have to get to in design to get to 10,000 MOI is you have to make the putter look so big and so bulky that you have other issues.
Now you got 2 hot dog looking weights on the outside of a square, and
you got a head cover the size of a pizza box.
Right.
So there's other issues that come with that.
It's a trade.
It is. So what we've done, because we didn't want to make the putter massive. So this is a larger number 7, but it's not crazy big as you can see. But the outside, all the stuff that's in this black color is stainless steel, which is quite dense. The center part now, which used to have steel in it, now is completely gone, and it's got this truss, this aluminum truss, which weighs 35% of what steel does, right? It takes the inertia way up, about a 40 or 50% increase in inertia. And that just means if you don't hit it perfect, which most of us don't, and you wander around the face a little bit, your ball speed is going to be more consistent. And if your ball speed is more consistent, your distance control is the same. And what we're trying to do is pull more putts, but for sure, let's get rid of 3 putts.
And if you're closer to the hole, then you win your hot dog and a Coke at the end of the round.
Yeah.
So what's the difference here? This is new.
Brand new, yeah. So these putters will hit the shops the middle of May. And we're going to take them out on tour probably the middle of March or so, and the tour is anxiously awaiting. So this is a derivation of our white hot insert, which the tour has still loved. Micro hinge golfers really enjoy, but it's very soft. So golfers that like that soft, as you said, forged feel, great. If we've had any trepidation or from any of the tour players, it has been on occasion that the faces don't have quite enough sound. So this will give you much more sound.
You were big with that within the design of yours.
I think it's really important. It's a very important part of matching sound to speed for your distance control. So this feels just like White Hot, which is a little bit firmer than Micro Hinge, but it gives you that same forward roll. So
these end up just being Micro Hinges set in a harder background.
Correct, and a different materials, a different firmer stainless steel than what we have in the other ones. So,
and it's funny because if you look at this, that has depth.
Yep.
When you see this has a kind of a depth in it.
Right.
You can feel it, and it's almost like for lack of a better term, almost like a milling.
Right.
Where this is very, very much smoother, a little different.
Not as deep.
Yeah.
So the feel you get really comes from sound. And for a right-handed golfer, when you hit a putt, the sound comes from impact directly up to your left ear. So to control what you feel, I just need, as a designer, to control what you hear. So if we have deeper grooves and things like that, then there's more places for the shock, the vibration, the sound to dissipate through that, and I can trick it and make it go this way instead of just straight up to your ear.
Right.
So if less gets here, it's going to feel softer in your hands.
Okay, nerd time. Does the sound travel up the shaft, or does it come right off of the pipe?
Right up off the pipe. Right off from the.
I didn't know if it was.
What you'll get on the shaft is you'll feel vibration,
Right.
but you won't get much of that. If I put headphones on you, you'll feel more of that.
Okay. The neat science of putting.
Yeah.
You could do that. You can see it to the World Congress of Golf or something.
Yeah.
Talking about that. All right, well, let's talk about some Toulon stuff. I think this is going to be super cool. It's got that kind of a, I don't know, an industrial look, a little more modern
for sure
feel for the newer generation.
Yeah, we're definitely proud of that. People like it.
And some heavy duty sidelines. You got your alignment for the ball, and this is the width outside of the ball,
Right.
So you can see it. I mean, this is, we talk on the Callaway community.
Right.
This is by far and away one of the most popular when they talk about which one you got. You can just go down the list, 7, 7, 7,
Right.
7, 7, 7, 7.
It's an iconic putter for us.
And that thing is just amazing. It looks nice. I like contrast in it too.
We're excited about that.
Very good.
Because I was talking to Hank Haney yesterday on his show, and he said, look, I tell people if you want to shoot lower scores, you have to do 3 things. No penalty shots, no 2 chips, and no 3 putts. And if you would just go up through your score, see how many times you double chipped and 3 putted, you could eliminate those for the average golfer. Oh my God.
Imagine on,